We're only 3 days into camp, and already strange things are afoot. What's up? Welcome to the instant reaction to day 3 of 49ers training camp. As you know, Brock Purdy wasn't here, and said it was personal. It would have been nice if the Niners would say exactly what's going on, or if Kyle Shanahan would say, but we're going to have to wait until Sunday to find out what's going on. He should be back in a couple of days. I do think it's interesting that he was gone just one day after he put on what many people are considering a master class performance in practice just yesterday. Maybe he wants more money. Who knows? Maybe he's retiring. Maybe he's decided that football is now too easy and he's taking up rodeo. Could happen. But we're going to get to Mac Jones in a minute because he was a starting quarterback. But I saw something very interesting at practice today. I'm not sure if anyone else saw it. Got it on video. Early on in practice, there is a special teams period. And, 85% of the players on the team play special teams. Some don't. Jauan Jennings does not play special teams. So instead of going and working on punt coverage or kick coverage or whatever, he went over to Kyle Shanahan. And those two had a conversation for 5 to 10 minutes. It was a very long conversation. And I couldn't tell what they were talking about. Sometimes they were laughing. Other times it seemed serious. So I stored that away. I really didn't know what to make of it. I didn't overhear anything. I just noticed that Jauan really wanted to talk to Kyle Shanahan. And Shanahan seemed open to talking to Jauan. And they really talked about a lot of things or had a wide range of emotions during this 5 to 10 minute conversation. When the special teams period ended, they broke apart and Jauan Jennings went and warmed up with the offense. Okay. Didn't know what to make of it. Then team drills start. And he does the thing he does when he did it week 17. He's done this before. When I don't know what it indicates about his demeanor or emotional state, but he starts blocking Deommodore Lenoir like he did that guy in Arizona last year, like he did that guy against Detroit. When he wants to make a statement, he'll just start blocking you and he won't let go, and he'll try to push you off the field. And he did that to Lenoir, who frankly has a little more standing than than Jennings on this team. Lenoir got extended. Jennings is not gotten that 5-year extension. He got a 2-year extension, and he might not be on this team again next year. So he's making a statement against Lenoir, and Lenoir doesn't appreciate it, and Lenoir throws a punch and doesn't get thrown out of practice. A lot of times if you throw a punch, you get thrown out of practice, which maybe indicates that Jennings was in the wrong and didn't need to be instigating like he was. So that's one thing. You got the long conversation with Kyle. You got this little fracas with Deommodore Lenoir. And then there was yesterday where he's playing with the second string just for one play. And he thought he got open. Mac Jones dropped back, and he's trying to, survive. So he checks it down quickly. I don't know if you call it a check down, but he completes a pass real quickly to the running back in front of him, Jordan James. Jauan Jennings kind of gets upset and yells on the field to Mac Jones. I'm not allowed to say exactly what any player or coach says during practice. It's a house rule. I'd love to tell you, but you can imagine sort of what a player who wanted the ball and didn't get it would yell to his quarterback. That's what he said. Exactly what you think he said. Loud with profanity. So yesterday, today, it seems like, my best guess, he clearly wants this extension. He went to Adam Schefter, or his agent went to Adam Schefter and made a sort of an ultimatum demand. The Niners said, cool your jets, buddy. Who are you to make any demands? We'll try to take care of you, but only if you show up to training camp and be a good team player, which he's doing. But time's going by. He's not exactly lighting up training camp, not having a bad training camp, but it's not like he's having 5-6 catches a day the way that, Brandon Ayuk did 2 years ago when he really cemented himself as the number 1 wide receiver on the team. So he's trying to find other ways to make an impact, blocking, starting fights with Deommodore Lenoir, starting fights with people who've already gotten paid, or yelling at the backup quarterback for not looking to him. I don't know. I think it'd probably be human nature. I'd be frustrated too. I didn't get what I wanted. my agent didn't back me or whatever. I decided not to hold in or hold out. I think it was, Jauan, if you're watching, I think it was probably a mistake not to hold out. I mean, every player who holds out or in gets what they want. You try to be the nice guy? You think they're going to give you money because you're the nice guy? I don't know if life works that way, Jauan. You had all the leverage and you gave it up so that you could start a fight with Diamador Lenore and show everyone how good of a blocker. We know you're a good blocker, man, but I mean, we know how good of a player you are. Now you have to actually advocate for yourself. Maybe the new agent. Maybe you should get Brandon Ayuk's agent. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Niners will take care of you. But he strikes me as a guy who's starting to second guess his whole plan. Because if you're just gonna fold and play nice, then why should they take you seriously? They took Ayuk seriously. They might not like Ayuk as much as they used to, but you know what? He gets $30 million a year. I don't think he cares who likes him at this point. Jauan Jennings is someone to monitor. It's been about a week and a half since he requested this extension. They should the first padded practice is going to be Monday. I would think that the right thing to do, if they were actually intending on extending Jauan Jennings, they would do so Monday or Tuesday. That's when the announcement would come. First day of padded practice, we worked it out. We came to an agreement. If he doesn't have it by then, who knows, man? He could be blocking Fred Warner off the field and getting into some fights he can't win. Something to monitor, Jauan Jennings' frustration level. This is bigger news, though. Another hamstring injury. First, it was Ricky Pearsall. Then it was Jacob Cowing. Now it's Renardo Green. And, we don't have an official diagnosis yet. We'll find out from Kyle Shanahan in 2 days what they're going to call it. But he was having a really good day. He was having an awful offseason, or not an awful offseason, but just a nondescript one, kind of like an Ambry Thomas offseason, a guy who's on the field watching plays happen around him, an observant. Today, he broke up 3 passes, started off early. Maybe it's because he was facing Mac Jones. Maybe he has a real good feel for when Mac Jones is going to throw the ball his direction. Maybe Brock's just that much better than Mac. I don't know. But he broke up 2 passes that were intended for Jauan in particular. Jauan, you're trying to show you're worth hella money. You might need to beat Renardo Green. And the second time they went to Green against Jauan, Jauan ran just a straight fade route up the left sideline. Like, sorry. I mean, that is not part of Jauan Jennings' route tree. He's a tight end. He's a skinny tight end. Should not be. Anyway, Renardo Green broke that pass up. But in doing so, he actually came close to a full sprint and seemed to pull his hamstring, hobbled off the field, went right over to a trainer, and was pointing and patting on his left hammy. Didn't return to the field. Maybe it was just a cramp. I don't know. But if it was a tweak, that's 3 weeks. I mean, we saw with Jacob Cowing, he had a tweak. He's not back. Won't be back anytime soon. And the problem with hamstring injuries, it's really not just 3 weeks, especially with football. I think there's a high tendency of them lingering and recurring. So if it happens to a guy in training camp, I'm wondering if he's ever really going to get to the peak of his powers that season. Renardo Green, guy's really important. Now, the good news is, again, maybe it's just a cramp. I don't know. Maybe he comes back soon, plays a full season. He was really playing well today, like he had at his best moments as a rookie. Also, it looks like Upton Stout is starting to take over as the nickelback, and he could be good too. I haven't seen him get beat much. He hasn't really gotten targeted much, and it seems like Robert Saleh likes to blitz him. So maybe this secondary isn't quite as bad as it looked yesterday. Renardo Green, great day. Upton Stout coming on. Jair Brown had a pick 6. Jason Pinnock didn't get mossed by an undrafted rookie free agent. That's nice. Diamador Lenore threw a punch but didn't connect, didn't break his hand. That's always clutch. So, but the hamstring thing, this is so preventable. It seems like the Niners need to adjust or tweak something about their process that has to do, with warming up. I'm just saying. They try so hard to keep these players healthy. The soft tissue stuff are the injuries that the Niners feel like they have the most control over. They're the most preventable. It's hard to prevent a guy from breaking a bone, but soft tissue is something they got to address because it's 3 times now. And come on, there should be no more hamstrings. All right, we got a close look at Mac Jones today. He was the starting quarterback. Played with McCaffrey, got a few reps with George Kittle. He was okay, honestly. I think he was all right. He made some nice throws downfield. He made some really bad throws downfield. His interception, he just didn't see the defender. I don't know. I guess he reminds me a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like we've seen, and that doesn't mean, I guess that's a good thing, right? Because Jimmy Garoppolo won a lot of games here, put up good numbers, made a lot of money. If the Niners essentially had, younger Jimmy Garoppolo as their backup for Brock Purdy, that's a good thing, right? And I think that's kind of what Mac Jones. Mac Jones is probably better than Jimmy too, because Mac Jones has a nice deep ball. He does. He gets air underneath it. He gets the point of the ball tilting downward. Nice. I mean, Brock kind of throws a flat deep pass. Even when he connects, it's kind of flat. Mac throws a nice lofted deep pass. I haven't seen many Niners quarterbacks do that. Really, like Jimmy didn't. Jimmy's was flat. Kaepernick's was flat. Alex Smith didn't want to throw deep. So I like that about Mac Jones. Got a nice, they have a pretty good arm. He's accurate. Ball comes out quickly. He's not trying to make plays or be a playmaker because he knows he's not one. So that makes him, to me, a very high-level backup quarterback. That's all good stuff. But the comparison to Jimmy is just like when he doesn't see it cleanly or when the first read is covered. With Brock, I almost feel like once he starts scrambling around, the defense gets more nervous. Like, oh, God, this little guy got out of the pocket. Damn it. If we could just keep this little guy in the pocket, we'll get him. But he's hard to keep in the pocket. And once he gets outside and he's extending the play, you're kind of at his mercy. I mean, he's not the biggest threat to run past the line of scrimmage, although he can do that. But once he's just outside the pocket, looking downfield, he can make a lot of things happen and does. And is very confident and relaxed in those moments. Jimmy wasn't. Mac isn't. Mac's just slow like Jimmy. So the longer the play goes, the worse the outcome's probably going to be. And I think that, behind this offensive line with these receivers, I don't know how effective that's going to be. Like with Jimmy, he would have good stretches and then he'd get hurt because he was so freaking slow. Even with Christian McCaffrey on the team, he lasted for like a month or two in that 2022 year because there was just one play where there was one free rusher and he tried to like move his feet a little bit and broke his leg. I mean, his foot or whatever, ankle. It's just not a good offensive line in terms of pass protection. And the more I watch Brock, the more I feel like his mobility, and that's a bad word. It's imprecise. Like his ability, his elusiveness in the face of pressure, that's more specific, is so essential. That might be his best quality. People talk about his processing and stuff like that. Yeah, he's good. I mean, he's better than a lot of quarterbacks, but just the first step quickness and the ability to make the defensive lineman miss is pretty special. And that's not Mac Jones. And I forgot what it was like to watch a quarterback who's kind of slow in this system, in this offense, behind this offensive line. And just, you're like, uh-oh, he's holding on to it. He's holding on. Get it out. Get rid of it. He did make the Niners defense look a lot better today, though. I'll give him that. I don't want to be too hard on Mac Jones, though, because, again, he's a better, younger version of Jimmy Garoppolo. Better, younger, cheaper version of Jimmy Garoppolo with a deep ball. And Jimmy had success here and probably would have success here if he came back. If Jimmy were the backup quarterback for Brock, he'd do a good job. So I think Matt can do a good job through 3 days of camp. He's completing 72.5% of his passes, one pick. Not bad. It's not like Trey ever did that. Brock's completing, he didn't play today, but he's at 20 of 24. So that's what? 5 of 6. What percentage is that? 80 something? Something like that. With 2 picks. So yeah, Brock's better than Mac, but I think the good news, it's not a quarterback competition until I decide it is. But it's not a quarterback competition. We're just trying to see, do the Niners have a legit backup quarterback? And I think they absolutely do. On the Niners, I think Mac could be if the Niners had drafted Mac Jones instead of Trey Lance, would he be their starter right now? Would he have failed? Would he have flopped? I think he probably would be their starter right now. The only guy who really wasn't ready to take this job was Trey, and that's shouldn't have come as a surprise considering how inexperienced he was. He was like uniquely inexperienced. Quarterbacks don't come to the league like that anymore. They get paid too much money to stay in college. I think Mac Jones probably would have been good enough to unseat Jimmy and play just as well as Jimmy, if not better. And he could be making $55 million a year right now. Instead, he's cheap. He's the backup. It's a good thing, even though he wasn't that good today. Let's talk about the backup running back for a minute. We know we got Christian McCaffrey, hell of a player, healthy now, but they got to spell him. They can't use him too much. And who is going to be that backup running back? We're all expecting Isaac Guerrero just because he was on the team last year. He's a second-year player. So he has the first crack at it. And he certainly could win that job. It's just that he fumbled on his first carry today. So he's just not like the most dependable running back. He's very good at certain things. He's the fastest running back on the team. He's, a big play waiting to happen. But he gets hurt. He turns the ball over. He runs upright. He's not consistently churning out positive yards. Last year, he averaged 5 yards a carry, but he only carried the ball 84 times. And one of his carries went for like 75 yards, which he gets credit for. He's a big play threat. But if you take away that one run, then he averaged like 4.1 yards per carry for the other 83 carries. So a lot of what you're going to get from Isaac Guerrero is negligible runs that go nowhere when there were, openings available that he didn't see. And then in his whole career, his whole life, he's never run the ball more than like 133 times in a season. He was a wide receiver in high school, went to Wisconsin and became a running back. And he's always had injury issues. He's always been a backup running back. And even as a backup, he's had issues staying healthy. So I wouldn't expect that to change this year. Meanwhile, the new running back on the team, Jauan Jennings, just had like 220 or 230 rushes last year at Oregon. He absolutely has the traits to be a starter, a dependable bell cow. I'm not saying he's a Pro Bowler. I'm not saying he's not. We'll see what he looks like when the pads come on and he's facing live contact. But if you ask me who's going to have more rushing yards this year, Isaac Guerrero or Jauan Jennings, I'd say James. I think Guerrero will start the season higher on the depth chart than James, but I'm not predicting injuries. I guess I just don't. I feel like the track record indicates that it's probably unlikely that Guerrero is going to all of a sudden become someone you could give the ball to 150, 200 times, someone who's going to stay healthy for 17 weeks. I don't know. But Jauan Jennings, I'm not the only guy that likes him. Vic Tafur, he said it. He tweeted it. He's got, for a littler running back, I would compare him to Elijah Mitchell. But he's like his legs are way bigger than Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell never seemed quite big or strong enough to make it. Maybe he is. Maybe he'll make it in Kansas City, but he always seemed like a guy who needed to put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle and never had the opportunity to do so and broke down. I think James has got that muscle. He doesn't fumble. He doesn't get hurt. Knock on wood. I think he's going to end up emerging as the backup. And I wouldn't be surprised if he might even lead the team in rushing yards this year, depending on Christian McCaffrey's health and consistency. Really excited to watch Jauan Jennings in preseason. There's a lot of rookies, obviously, but the ones on offense are interesting. There's another one, Isaiah Nayor. He was the UDFA of the day yesterday, of day 2. He had that long, beautiful catch. There was some debate on the sideline today whether it was a nice throw. It was Mac Jones throwing deep into like double coverage. You could argue it was a bad decision. Jason Pinnock waiting there, cornerback on Isaiah Nayor's hip. He just drops back, play fakes, and lets it fly. Because when you got Isaiah Nayor against 2 guys down the field, why wouldn't you trust him? I don't know. Maybe you know something about Nayor that we should know or don't know, because Nayor made that catch it was very difficult. He made it look pretty easy. I didn't know he could go up and get the ball over defenders like that. I thought he was just a big guy who could run. But no, it seems like he's a receiver. I don't think he's going to have a huge route tree. I don't know if he'll ever be a starter for the team, but a 6'4" wide receiver who runs a 4.4 and can go up over the top and catch the ball at the highest point is a threat. And on top of that, if you can run some stop routes as well, that's enough of a route tree to maybe be a number 3 or 4 guy, a guy you put on the field sometimes just to, take shots. Why not? That's kind of what Jacob Cowing is, but Jacob Cowing's 5'8". This guy's 6'4". Definitely someone to watch. They didn't call any shots for him today. I wonder if the Niners have seen enough and they're like, you know what, he's our secret. We might need to put him on the practice squad. We don't want the whole world to know about him. But if he goes to the practice squad, I don't think he'll be there long. The Niners aren't that good. Their wide receiver room isn't that deep that they can keep this guy on the practice squad. Now, he seems like he's probably competing with the other rookies, Jordan Watkins and Junior Bergen, for playing time, for a spot in the 53. And they're going to have to give those guys opportunities. Watson's gotten lots of opportunities today. He only caught like one pass on like 4 or 5 targets. He's struggling to get open. Maybe we crown Jordan Watkins a little too soon. And when I say we, I mean me, but I'm going to loop you guys. It's your fault. The royal we. The collective we. But they got to give Junior Bergen an opportunity as well, as a receiver. And they threw him a screen pass today. And he ran a reverse today as well. So I don't know. Maybe they have a plan for Bergen as well. It's going to be an interesting competition there at wide receiver. They're so different. Bergen is this like returner who's not super fast, but they're going to find like different ways to get the ball on offense. And then you got Isaiah Nayor, who is not a returner, but he is super fast. I'm thinking it's really early. But we'll see if Nayor makes a play in the preseason. If he does, I think they can't put him on practice squad. They might want to. They might get greedy and want to, but this guy is George Kittle talked about him on Bussin' with the Boys. Didn't even know his name, but he's like, yeah, this is undrafted free agent, 6'4", runs a 4.4. He's really good. If Kittle knows him, I'm thinking the word's out. And this is the Niners' big secret. Anyway, I'm doing a new segment called the UDFA of the day. And it was Nayor yesterday. Today, the UDFA of the day, Jacob Robinson, cornerback from BYU. Jacob Robinson is a very interesting player. I don't understand why he wasn't drafted. Like, if you look at him, he was a captain. He wasn't invited to the combine. That's a reason. But I don't know why. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. It's a little light. He runs a 4 translate. And so far, I haven't seen anything from Jacob Robb. It's been 3 days. Well, till today. So it had been 2 days, plus rookie minicamp and all that. Number 49 is an unflattering number. If he were number 4 or number 9, he'd look really cool. 49, hard to look cool. But really, all I want to see with UDFA is like, do you make any plays? Because all the players are big and fast and strong. Everyone runs a 4.5 or whatever. Like, does that mean that you're ever going to catch a ball or make a play? So for Robinson, I was just waiting. I'm reserving judgment on these guys. Nayor made one yesterday. Robinson, final play of practice today. He's lined up across from Jordan Watkins. I'd see it before the play starts. I'm thinking, this is a matchup worth watching. I've been curious about Robinson since they signed him. Now he's going up against a wide receiver, fellow rookie. You know, they may have faced each other in college. I don't know. Fellow rookie. I mean, Watkins isn't necessarily. They both run like 4.4s. See what happens. So Watkins ran a deep out on the left sideline. Robinson was all over it, broke up the pass, and then posed afterward. I like the pose. So I now feel like he's a future All-Pro. I'm pretty sure. But hey, they need him though, because Bernardo Green got a hammy. And Trey Brown looks like he's not the business. Diamond Lenore really good. Upton Stout also promising, and Darrell Luter Jr. Don't you forget, You forgot about Darrell Luter Jr. You did. Oh, no, you did. Don't lie. You were sitting there and you didn't even think about it. You were like, who? Who is 28? No, it's Darrell Luter Jr. And he had a pass breakup today, too. I think he's good. I think all of a sudden, the Niners cornerback room might be better than I thought. I was a little too tough on Renardo Green. He hurt himself, but he played well. I think he's definitely got. We saw the reason. I mean, he led the Niners in pass breakups last year. 3 in 1 day today. Guy's got some serious talent. Now you got Jacob Robinson, too. The Jacob Robinson. Watch out, NFC West. Jacob Robinson is here. I think he's good. Serious. No joke. I saw him first. How's my track record with these players? Phenomenal. Grunt Bone says, tell him about Migriense next to Goodwill. Grant, man, I've been telling him about that. My favorite taco truck, International 29th in Goodwill parking lot. It's been there since 1985. When I first started going there, it was 2005. So I've been there for the second half of its lifetime. And I shit you not, when I first started going there, a burrito was $3.75. Now it's $12. And it's still worth the $12. But now I feel like the taco is $3.75. I don't know, maybe it's not $3.75. But man, times have changed out here in these streets. Okay, last thing, kicker competition. This is just too funny to me. They're actually having a kicker competition. Every day in practice, each one, Jake Moody, Greg Joseph, they get like 4 or 5 kicks. And the whole team stands around and watches because they're trying to put as much pressure on the kickers as possible. And a couple of days ago, we interviewed Nick Bosa, asked him about it. And he's like, yeah, I actually am watching the kicker competition. I'm interested. Which to me means like probably the better, higher paid players are kind of annoyed that it's even a thing. Like, can we please have a kicker? Can you guys just find a kicker? Like, you got a kicker, right? We have a kicker, right? So today, Nick Bosa said, I mean, he's put the spotlight on it. He says he watches. The whole team's watching, and we're watching. Both kickers melt down. First is Greg Joseph. He pushes one wide right from like 40-something. Then he doinks one off the left upright from his perspective, left from his perspective. So he went 2 for 4. That's pretty bad. Now, it's a small sample size. And you think, okay, so he's really opened the door for Jake Moody to really seize this competition, grab it by the throat. Then he missed a kick, pushed it wide right. That's the thing about competitions. Just because you take 2 players and put them in a competition, it doesn't mean that the winner of said competition will be good. It just means that he's better than the other guy that you didn't like. And so far with Greg Joseph, I'm starting to see why, he's bouncing around. I feel like Greg Joseph is here to make Jake Moody lock in. And I don't know that Greg Joseph can do that because he's not good. And neither is Jake Moody, although maybe he's improved. He talked today to the media and said that he's changed his steps a little bit and he's tweaked this and that. I don't know. I just feel like it's not about his steps. I think there is something with his mental makeup and how he reacts to pressure. Because there was the pressure of his teammates watching today. And that got to both of them, I think. So no winners in today's kicker competition, only losers. Unfortunately, maybe I'll get an opportunity to kick. I've never kicked a football, but I did play soccer for a while, indoor soccer as well. So I think I'm probably qualified. Let's see what else we got. Jake Moody. I think with Jake Moody is like, if Greg Joseph were the kicker, I feel like no one would care. It'd be like, all right, well, the Niners just have some generic kicker. I forget his name. I don't even know how old he is or how they got him or what team he was on last year. He's just a kicker in the NFL with one of those, kicker names. And he'll make some kicks and he'll miss some kicks and we'll live with it. But with Jake Moody, I think Niner fans are just like, triggered. And players, like, man, you're third round pick. You're supposed to be good. Kick ball really far. Can't even make extra points when we need you to. Like, I don't want to worry about you anymore, man. You're in year 3 and you're still like trying to figure it out. Like, no, I just want some really consistently mediocre veteran, not some young guy who's like good sometimes and awful other times. I think that's kind of what it is. Who wants to worry about a kicker? No one, frankly. So, I don't know. I always finish these streams like in 30 minutes. Maybe next week I'll have some co-hosts on with me. We could talk about stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of done. I wanted to end with the kicker competition because I want to save that one for the end because it's just ridiculous. There should never be a kicker. If you have a kicker competition, that's the first indication that you don't have a kicker. That's what we learned. 2 guys competing for kicks. Nope. You might as well throw young Grant Cohn in that, or medium or middle-aged Grant Cohn, because he's going to be just as bad. Not just as bad. Your question about the secondary? All right. What question about the secondary? Does the secondary looking better have more to do with Jones not being great or them actually having promise, though? I didn't think that Jones was necessarily bad. I felt like he threw some passes to some guys who were kind of tightly covered in man-to-man coverage. He gave Jauan Jennings wanted the ball, right? He yelled for it yesterday. Yelled at Mac Jones. Wanted the ball. All right, well, Mac Jones gave him out. I mean, it's not like Jauan's ever going to have lots of separation anyway. You're 6'3", you're tough. Catch the ball. And twice Renardo Green beat him at the catch point. So maybe it's just a young secondary, youth, taking lumps and improving. Maybe. Could be. Good question. Jair Brown took some lumps. Boy, is he taking lumps. Renardo Green, couple lumps, maybe 1 or 2. Jair Brown, about a dozen. Lenore, not many lumps. Good question. I think that's a good one. Do a Kyle and Jake conversation in the locker room. I've never seen them talk in the locker room. I don't really see people talk to Jake Moody much. I feel like people just kind of leave him alone, you know? I feel like he's got enough pressure. He always walks around or has a look on his face like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. All right. I answered the question. It was a good question, too. I'm going to pack up, go home, and get ready for 1 day off. And then I'm back at it. But when I say 1 day off, I ain't taking no motherfucking days off. Hell no. I'll stream a little bit tomorrow. We'll talk about something. But I'm not going to be here. I got to take my little traveling studio home. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate the continued support. It's been a long time, guys. When I first started doing these post-training camp practice streams, it wasn't even on YouTube. It was on Periscope. I was like 29 years old. I have grown up not at all. 37-year-old man, baby. Talking to his computer. But at least you guys are there. Appreciate it. Got to take my train. Taking a train home. I grew up watching Thomas the Tank Engine at 37 years old. I realized that I didn't outgrow it. I wish I could move to Shining Time Station. Hang out with Thomas, Gordon, Percy, Ringo Starr. Who did you like better? Ringo Starr as Mr. Conductor? George Carlin. Now, George Carlin, one of the greatest comedians of all time, but I kind of feel like Ringo Starr, like, you know, I didn't know who the hell George Carlin was when I was a kid. He wasn't cracking jokes on freaking Shining Time Station. All I know is that Ringo had a way cooler voice, and it's an easy decision for me. Ringo. No one else watched Shining Time Station. No one else knows a lot about Tom. Okay, that's enough. Thanks for watching. I will be back tomorrow. See you guys at Amtrak.